century has passed since we first began our journey across the sea to find the glory and the dream. Just a Taylor and a John and a brother built our team. Greeted sometimes with hostility, but more often with the light. The boys who rise and have to clear through troubled skies. After constant days of struggle, they arrived in paradise. This feels like heaven. This must be the dream. This feels like paradise. The best we've ever seen. The best we've ever seen. Even through the lean years, our support would flock in thousands. Countless trophies stand displayed for all to view. Side by side, brothers, sisters, we're united, and our children do the same. This feels like heaven. This must be the dream. This feels like paradise. The best we've ever seen. The best we've ever seen. The above club was formed in November 1887 by a number of Catholics in the East End of the city. The main objective of the club is to supply the East End conferences of the St Vincent de Paul Society to support those in the missions of St Mary's, Sacred Heart and St Michael's. Many cases of sheer poverty are left unaided through lack of means. A football club will be formed for the maintenance of the dinner tables of our needy children. This feels like heaven. This must be the dream. This feels like paradise. The best we've ever seen. The best we've ever seen. We stand in paradise. Brothers, sisters, hand in hand. What's the finest in the land? The finest in the land. There we go, just after that first half. I thought I'd play you the glory and the dream, Kevin. Let's go to the action then. We spoke in depth about the various lineup changes and the fact that Jota was sitting on the bench, and we spoke about Maeda, the impact that Maeda can make. Some brilliant points coming through here about the two players who have played so well tonight, Moy, the two goal scorers, and Maeda, and how well they've played since they've come back from the World Cup. How impressed have you been in that first half, Kev?
I've been very, very impressed by that first half. Not just by the fact that we're winning 2-0, but the actual half itself was 45 minutes of football has been excellent to watch. If they, what would we call this league now? The Premiership, Scottish Premiership, SPFL, whatever it's branded as these days, needs an advert for the game to sell it elsewhere. It's that 45 minutes for me. I think it's been an excellent game because we're used to seeing teams sitting with two banks of 5 pretty much that you've got to try and break through. But Hibs have come out and had a go, and they've made this a proper game, and we've risen to it, if you can say that. We've stuck to our game plan. We've been excellent in that first half. Some of the football that we've played has been breathtaking at times, I think, anyway. And the two you mentioned, the two goal scorers, Moy and Maeda, pretty much been at the heart of everything. So it's been a very enjoyable first half.
I know. And we even seen Moy smiling, which was nice.
That's
Joe,
the rare thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Joe, just in case you were unaware, The Glory and the Dream is a single that the Celtic State of Mind have recorded and released to raise funds for St Mary's, which is the birthplace of Celtic. It's out there. It will continue to be out there. And 2 or 3 minutes before we go live, often what we'll do is we'll play that prior to the bulletins. So hopefully you enjoy the music. And hopefully we can raise Several £1,000s, Kevin, for the birthplace of Celtic. Now, Sned's 1967, poor start, not being at our best, but 2-0 up. Can't complain too much. I think a big part of that was what you were saying, Kev. Hibs do try and play football against us now. They were absolutely put to the sword, 6-1 at Celtic Park. So, we've seen teams that have parked the bus. We've seen teams that have played 10 men behind the ball. Hibs haven't done that tonight, even though we completely dismantled them at Celtic Park.
Yeah, they've not. And fair play to them. Because in the opening 5 minutes, to the goal that was disallowed for offside, he was offside, Cadden. It was the right call, no doubts about it. But they managed to get in behind us and we had created that chance. Then, a couple of minutes later, the boy Yuan, I think I pronounced his name correctly, on the left-hand side. For them, he's had a really good first half, actually, been pretty dangerous. And he's fired in a low cross that Starfelt's had to turn behind for a corner, and they've looked dangerous and they've taken the game as at times. Even after the opening goal, they've still tried to have a go and create openings, and it makes for it to be a really exciting game. It's, as I say, it's an advert for the game in Scotland, I think, and it should be something that other teams take a look at and go, right, we can park the bus like Aberdeen did and we're still going to end up losing the game 1-0.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can have a go, and if we get in behind Celtic in the first 5-10 minutes and get a goal, then it gives them a far better chance. And Hibs have had a go, they've had that mindset to come out, and they've made this a proper game. And we're 2-0 up. And you wouldn't bet against Hibs coming out in the second half and maybe getting a goal. As much as I said that Joe Hart's going to keep a clean sheet, and I still stand by that because I can't backtrack on it. If Hibs did get the next goal because of the way they're playing, it's game on again. And you could see that they'll get confidence from it. That said, as open as they are at the back, we can go on and get another couple as well if we keep on attacking and making the most of the chances as we have done in the first half.
Well, you mentioned there about Hibs, and obviously not to place too much onus or focus on the opposition, but they did come out, they attacked, they've hit the woodwork, they've scored a goal that was disallowed. And I think, as you say, if they were to come out in the same kind of manner in the second half and manage to get the next goal, it makes for a very interesting second half. I think I've seen enough in that first half to believe that Celtic will be confident enough coming out and getting the next goal. Now, there's been quite a few comments coming through in relation to the performance of Abada. Andrew Phillips is saying Jota should be coming in for Abada. It wouldn't be the first time at half-time both Abada's been hooked and thrown on and thrown into the action. He came on to great effect at Pittodrie, didn't he? He was brilliant down the right-hand side. Not his best night so far tonight. Can you see Ange making a change this early in proceedings? We know he has done previously.
You wouldn't put it past him because he's done it in the past. But I actually don't think Abada's been that bad tonight. For me, he's been underused more than anything, because I've seen him taking a really wide position on the right-hand side when Hibs have been quite narrow and compact, or tried to be at times defensively, and he's been out there on the right. In the past just hasn't gone out his way. And then the couple of times that it has, it's his cross, I think, that sets up the chance for Maeda, the one for 3 yards out that he hits off the bar.
Yes.
So I think when he's actually had the ball, he's been quite effective. He just hasn't had it enough. For me, he hasn't done enough, or he's not been bad enough that I would say you need to take him off. Maybe, again, do the thing that Ange usually does. If you wait until the hour mark and make your triple change, and then you're bringing on Jota, Giakoumakis, Forrest, players like that. It's a good option to have around about that time.
Yeah.
The one player that I'd maybe consider taking out would be one of the guys that we spoke about before the game. It's Kyogo, because I think he's been really quiet in that first half. Everything seems to be coming through the middle to a point, and then we're taking it wide. And he's having to drop really deep to get involved, and he's not really had... I don't remember him having a shot in the first half, having a chance. So he might be one, but then... it's Giakoumakis would be the one to come on. And then he gets his 45 minutes. So he would actually get a decent run out tonight.
True.
Rather than the 10, 15 minutes that he's been getting before. So maybe there's a change there. And maybe there's a a carrot that if he goes out and there's a good second half, he gets the nod for Monday.
It would be interesting, Kevin, whilst we are obviously on top if a change is made. Lanky67 somehow didn't know we had released a song. Didn't I mention it? Didn't I mention it once or twice?
You must have forgot to mention that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, though, we'll try and play it 3 minutes earlier than kick-off time in terms of the bulletin so that we're not eating into the chat on the game. But I think we really need to talk about Maeda, right? Because obviously we spoke about how, you know, there were several changes. Jota, we spoke about at the beginning of the game. The fact some in the comments thought we were putting him on ice for Monday. Others, including yourself, said, well, no, actually, Maeda's in better form at the moment. This season, there's been a real arc to Maeda's performances, and I agree with one of the first commenters earlier on tonight, who reckons that, you know, since he's come back from the World Cup, I think he has been excellent. Tonight, a couple of missed chances, Kevin, and I'm thinking to myself, is it going to be one of the nights for Maeda? Because people talk about the clinical nature and the fact he's not a finisher. And Liam Carrigan, who has got great knowledge of Japanese football and has watched Maeda long before he wore a Celtic jersey, reckons that he's a better centre forward. So we've got all this information to hand. He picks up that ball in an area of the park at Easter Road there where there's no danger whatsoever. Kevin, he's got no right to create a chance where he wins the ball. He's got no right to create a chance. But that's exactly what I did. And we were talking about, you know, scoring from distance, taking a pot shot from outside the box. What an excellent finish. And, you know, his celebration or lack of, I found quite interesting as well, because all his teammates were delighted with him. He had just missed a chance. Yeah, it hit the bar, but he probably should have scored it, right? And Ange looked a wee bit disappointed. But what a strike that was by Maeda.
It's an unbelievable goal. It really was. And he just... no matter what he does, whether he scores that goal from 25 yards or whatever it is, or he misses a chance with 3 yards out, he just looks unflustered, regardless. And I love that about him, because I think that's probably just him being so focused on what he's doing that he's like, right, okay, I've missed a chance, but I'm going to play on and I'll get the next one, or I've scored a great goal, but now I need to get the next one again. You know, I think he's just that super focused.
Yeah.
But what a goal that was. And that's the goal that Jota has scored for us in the past and should be scoring for us more often. The one where he just picks the ball up so deep, runs into the space, and the space it's created by Taylor. We've got to give him a lot of credit for that as well, because his run from kind of that inverted middle position to out wide, pulls, I think it's Porteous away, and it just creates the space again for Maeda to cut inside. Once he hits it, I mean, he struck it perfectly. That's properly putting the laces through it, I think, and it's a rapier type finish, is it not? Because it's right in the corner. And there's no way that David Marshall's going to get anywhere near it.
It was a sweet finish.
Unbelievable finish. Great technique.
One of those ones, Kev, that once it leaves your boot, you know it's gone in the net. Did you ever experience that? Martin Heaney, the World Cup...
Of course I did. Every time I played the game, Paul, every time I played.
I've heard that's what it feels like.
That's why I'm sitting in Budapest commentating on games on Acsom and not playing anywhere. But yes.
100%. I agree with Martin. I think that the World Cup, if you look at Moy and Maeda, it's done them wonders. And obviously, let's not forget the part Maeda played in Moy's opening goal as well. I thought he was brilliant down the left-hand side, and he gets the assist. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're about 800 strong, which is brilliant for a half-time bulletin. And we will be going back to the action in just a moment or two. Jungle Lion brings in a very interesting point, however. Obviously, Juranovic is back on the bench tonight. Hatate is a makeshift right back. And Jungle Lion reckons that he'll be back in midfield on Monday with Juranovic back at fullback. Listen, I wouldn't be an issue. That wouldn't be an issue for me, Kevin. But then you're looking at the performance of Moy tonight and also against St Johnstone. And it feels like it would be a bit harsh to drop him for the game against Rangers. What would your thoughts be? I know we're jumping the gun a wee bit. We've still got a second half to deal with here. But I do find that quite an interesting point to look at. It's
going to be as interesting as who plays up front, that discussion. Because Hatate's done nothing wrong at right back. I'd kind of be inclined if Juranovic is fit to start him on Monday, because he's the more natural defender, and that would be the only thing that would give him the nod over Hatate for that game. Because there's been a couple of times when Yuan's kind of run at him and he's got the better of him and he's looked dangerous. He's putting a couple of good low balls. So you've got to say, maybe if you've got a more natural fullback in there, that doesn't happen to the same extent. And you don't want to give anything away on Monday. So maybe Juranovic gets the nod for that reason. But if there's any doubt about Juranovic over fitness or if he's still carrying a knock, then you go with Hatate and you've got confidence in him over the game and a half that he's played there, that he can do as a job again. And then, even if someone does get the better of him, what's happened today is Starfelt's read everything. And the two balls that have come in that I'm talking about from Yuan, Starfelt's been the one that's got across, he's read it and he's cleared the danger. Mm-hmm. So he's got covering behind him. And I think going forward, he just fits in because he's that midfield player anyway. So going forward, he's just a natural in that. Excuse me. I don't know what happened there. He's just a natural going forward. So he provides a little bit more in that respect than Juranovic does. It's a tough one. But as I say, that's why Ange gets paid the big bucks, because he'll need to make the big call on Monday.
Yeah, and it's a good dilemma to have as well. Thanks everybody for getting involved. As I say, 800 strong at half time there. We could continue to go on. But if we do a watch along, Kevin and I will normally come away with some shocking predictions. And all we want to do is get back to the action. So thanks everybody for getting involved in the comment section. And thank you once again to Kevin McCluskey for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind.
Nice one. Cheers, Paul.